Hello, my name is Ruby and I'm going to show you all about the work of nurses, doctors and health workers.
Morning, Ruby.
It's Tuesday morning and poor Ruby is feeling ill.
Very well.
She's had a high temperature during the night and her throat is very sore.
I've got a sore throat.
Sore throat, oh dear.
Ruby's father decides to call the doctor's surgery to make an appointment. He wants to get that sore throat checked out.
Hello, Laterbarn Group Practice.
Hello, I'd like to make an appointment for my daughter, please, to see the doctor.
It will be 10 to 11.
OK, I'll see you then.
Thank you, bye-bye.
A few hours later, Ruby and her dad arrive at the medical centre. First of all, they have to check in using the computer. Ruby presses the buttons on the screen. She has to say whether she is male or female and the date she was born. April the 9th, 2000. Then Ruby and her father sit down and wait to be called.
To come up on the screen up there.
There's my name.
Soon, Ruby's name appears on a screen in the waiting room, with a message telling her which room to go to.
It says we've got to go to treatment room blue. Let's go.
This must be the room with a blue door. Ruby goes in to see the nurse practitioner, Sister Marie Jocelyn.
OK, how can I help Ruby today?
Ruby's had a bit of a sore throat and a cough for the last few days, so I just thought it's best to come and get her checked out.
OK, Ruby, can I have a little look at you and see if we can hear this cough? All right. Now, what I need to do, Ruby, I need to check your temperature with this. Do you know what this is called? This is called a thermometer, OK?
The nurse takes Ruby's temperature with a thermometer.
So it's going to go inside your ear and it doesn't hurt, all right? And you might
It plays a little tune when it's ready. Sister Jocelyn reads the number on the thermometer. It tells her whether or not Ruby's body is too hot. Ruby's temperature is 36 degrees, completely normal. Next, Sister Jocelyn looks inside Ruby's mouth. She has to open very wide. The nurse checks Ruby's tonsils are not swollen. Now, Sister Jocelyn looks into Ruby's ears with her oroscope. Children should never put anything in their ears because they might hurt them.
Do you know what this is called?
A stethoscope.
Excellent. Do you know what to do with the stethoscope?
You put those on your ears and put that on my chest.
OK, I'm going to get you to breathe in and out very, very deeply. And out. Lovely. Can you face me and I'll have a listen at the front?
Last of all, Sister Jocelyn uses a stethoscope to listen to Ruby's chest.
That's very good, Ruby, thank you. So she's got probably a viral illness at the moment. So with a viral illness, it runs its own course, natural course, probably lasts between 5 and 7 days. And what we suggest is that you give her Calpol. So I'm going to run off a prescription for some Calpol for you. Okay.
Sister Jocelyn types out a prescription on her computer. She prints it out and then she signs it. Now Ruby's dad must take the prescription to the chemist's to get Ruby's medicine.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Bye.
Sometimes the chemist shop is called a pharmacy. Ruby and her dad go inside. The shop sells lots of things for keeping people healthy, as well as medicine to make them better when they're ill.
Hi there.
Ruby hands over the prescription at the counter.
Would you like to come up and help the pharmacist make your medicine?
As a special treat, Ruby is allowed to see the medicine being prepared.
I'm Sludge the pharmacist. What's your name?
Ruby.
Shall I take your prescription?
Yes.
On the walls there are shelves full of medicines.
Look at all these different
Children must never touch medicine unless it's been given to them by a grown-up.
They all to make people better.
Saj takes a bottle of medicine from one of the shelves.
Ruby, do you want to help me measure this medicine?
Yeah.
Saj uses a measuring cylinder to measure the pink medicine. They need 50 millilitres.
Very good, that's 50 mils. Okay, now I need to put it in a glass bottle. We've got all different sizes.
Now Ruby helps to choose the right size bottle.
Which one would be the best one for that?
This one.
Very good. Shall we try it?
Yeah.
Very carefully, Saj pours the medicine into the brown bottle. He puts a safety lid on the top so that only grown-ups can open it. Ruby watches as Saj prints off a label with her name on it. The label says how much medicine Ruby should have and when she should take it. Ruby tears off the label and Saj gets a bag. Now Ruby's medicine is ready to take away.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye, Ruby. Bye, Justin.
Okay, Ruby.
When they get home, Ruby's dad gives her a dose of the medicine she got from the chemist's.
There we go. That should make your throat feel better.
Then she goes to bed to rest. Sleep often helps make you better when you're poorly. A few days later, Ruby is fit and well again. This time it's the turn of her younger brother and sister to go to the medical centre for a checkup to see if they're growing properly.
We've come for the baby clinic.
The baby clinic's just down there.
That's great, thank you very much.
Baby Ella is taken to the baby clinic.
Hello, come on in and take a seat and I'll just get your notes out. Shall I take your red book out and I'll just find your notes? Okay.
The health visitor looks at her records in the red book. Then baby Ella is weighed on scales. She weighs 8 kilograms. The health visitor marks her weight on the chart. Baby Ella is doing very well.
Good girl. Ooh, found Mum, haven't you?
Now it's Deji's turn. He takes off his shoes and stands up straight. He's being measured by Dr. Walkley to see how tall he is. The doctor pulls down the tape measure.
There we go.
He is 101 centimetres tall.
You can smile for me. On you jump on there.
Now Deji jumps on the scales to be weighed.
15 kilograms.
He is growing very well.
Well done.
The doctor marks off his weight and height on the chart. What a big boy. Deji will be starting school soon.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye, Deji. Bye-bye, Ruby.
Back at home, Ruby is playing with her teddies. She's very interested in doctors and nurses now and wants to find out more about their work. A few weeks later, Ruby gets an exciting chance to visit the big hospital in Wythenshawe. She's going to find out all about the people who work in the hospital and the special equipment they use to make people better.
Hello, I'm Dr. Rowe. Pleased to meet you. And I believe you're Ruby and you're going to spend the day with me today. Is that right? But first of all, I've got a white coat for you.
Ruby is given a white coat to wear, like a real doctor.
This goes all the way over your head. There we go. And then a stethoscope. There we go.
Ah, a very important piece of equipment, the stethoscope. Very professional. Ruby says goodbye to her dad, and she and Dr. Rose set off down the corridors of the hospital.
Right, Ruby.
Before they see any patients, they have to clean their hands very carefully.
With some hygienic hand rub. Just a couple of squirts, yeah? And I'll take a couple of squirts. We'll rub it all over the surface of
It's very important not to bring any germs into the hospital.
And then in between the fingers, like that. And the other way, yeah? And then we do our thumbs. And then our hands are completely clean. No bugs at all. Right, come this way.
Then they go to see a hospital ward. A ward is a room where patients stay when they're in hospital.
So there are a couple of beds where the patients can sleep. Any questions that you wanted to ask?
Why do these curtains?
They're here so that we can actually keep things private. So if people need to get changed or have a wash, we can actually draw the curtain all the way around if we need to. Okay.
Why do they have these funny beds?
Well, the funny beds are here so we can adjust them for the patients to go in any position that they want to.
Dr. Rowe shows Ruby the amazing beds that can be moved up and down by remote control.
Sometimes when we examine somebody, we've got to lie them really, really flat so we can feel the whole of their tummy. And so now shall we go and see some patients?
Now it's time to see their first patient.
Hello.
Hello.
Is it Mrs. Schimmel?
Yes.
Dr. Rowe's my name, and this is my assistant for the day, Dr. Ruby.
Hello, Dr. Ruby.
Right, what's been the problem?
Got a funny heartburn.
Right, okay. So you've been feeling your heart thumping?
Yes.
All right. Would it be all right if we could check your pulse?
Yes.
Dr. Rowe feels the patient's wrist. She can feel a pulse. This tells the doctor that Mrs. Schimmel's heart is beating properly. Ruby gets a chance to try out her stethoscope. First, she puts the stethoscope in her ears.
Okay, and if you can just test the bottom of the stethoscope with your fingers. Can you hear that? Okay, good. Would you like to have a listen to Mrs. Schimmel's chest?
Now she can listen to Mrs. Schimmel's heart.
Listen, see if you can hear her heart. What can you hear? What noises can you hear? Can you hear boom, 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 boom? Good. Okay. Very good.
Thank you, Mrs. Simon.
Thank you, Dr. Ruby.
Next, Ruby meets some of the other people who work on the ward.
This is Lynn, who's the ward manager.
Hello.
And this is Tricia, who's the senior staff nurse.
Pleased to meet you.
Dr. Ruby.
Lynn offers to show Ruby some of the storerooms on the ward.
Come with me. This is where I keep all my clean sheets. When one patient goes home and we give the bed a good wash and then we put clean sheets on.
This is another patient, Mrs. Evans. Nurse Tricia is measuring her blood pressure using a machine. The doctors check everything is okay.
I'm Dr. Rowe, and this is Dr. Ruby.
Hello, Doctor.
Right, and you've been checking Mrs. Evans' blood pressure?
I have indeed, yes.
And how is it?
It's perfectly normal.
Right, so what we do is we then mark the blood pressure down on a chart. And we can keep a record of what the blood pressure's been.
Dr. Rowe marks the blood pressure on a special chart.
Why do you measure the blood pressure?
By watching the blood pressure, we can tell if somebody's very poorly. Sometimes when somebody's ill, their blood pressure can drop, and that can mean that they're very unwell. So we have to keep a close eye on that. Okay. Well done.
Thank you.
Very much, and we'll see you again.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
All right.
Now, Dr. Rowe shows Ruby the phone and television that each patient gets on the ward.
And they have a button so that they can call the nurse if they need to. And also, they all have oxygen just in case they become poorly, and we can turn that on. You can see the oxygen going up and up. Can you hear it?
Ruby puts the mask over her nose and tries the
Can you
oxygen.
feel it blowing? It's just air, just like the oxygen in the air.
The patients also each have their own table on wheels that fits neatly over the bed. They can use it to eat their meals or do some writing. Each patient also gets a jug of water to drink from. This patient is enjoying his dinner. Before they leave, Dr. Rowe shows Ruby the cards sent by patients who have stayed on the ward.
What do they all say?
The patients are all very grateful to the hospital staff. Next, they go to another department in the hospital. Ruby is introduced to a special kind of doctor called a surgeon.
This is Stuart Wilson, Ruby. He's a surgeon who looks after people's hands and broken bones. Ruby's being a doctor with me for the day.
Hi Ruby, how are you? Do you want to come and see some x-rays of someone that's hurt their hand?
Yes, please.
Want to come with me?
Dr. Wilson switches on the light box.
Okay Ruby, this is an x-ray which is a special picture which we can take which allows us to see inside people's bodies. In this case, this lady's fallen and she's broken a bone. Can you see where the broken bone is? That's right, the bones have broken and we call that a fracture. And one of the things I do as a surgeon is to make people's broken hands better. We're going to put this lady in a plaster of Paris to make her hand better.
First of all, Susie the nurse puts a bandage over the patient's hand. Ruby watches as she wraps some tape round the bandage. Next, Dr. Wilson puts a sticky wet plaster on the patient's hand. This is dipped in a mixture called plaster of Paris. Ruby helps to wrap the plaster round Maria's hand.
Plaster and smooth it off. make it
Then
nice and
Ruby
smooth.
dips her hands in water to wet the bandage and she smooths it down carefully. After a few minutes, the plaster will set hard, which will help to keep the bones still while they mend.
How does that feel?
That's fine, Ruby, thank you.
How did you break your hand?
I tripped up and fell on my hand.
Nearly finished now.
Thank you very much, Ruby.
It's all right.
Last of all, Dr. Wilson puts a bandage on Ruby's finger so she can see what it feels like. This bandage is called a tubigauze. Just then, Ruby's father comes in to pick her up. He's a bit worried when he sees her bandage.
What happened to your finger?
Nothing, we're just having some fun.
Oh, I see. It's just pretend, is it? It's time to go home now. Are you going to say thank you to the doctor?
Thank you.
Ruby says thank you for an exciting day. Perhaps she will be a health worker too when she grows up.
Thank you for watching. Keep healthy.